Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
Ew. 1-5. A few things before we get started. One, I do have Sixers stuff planned. A lot of you have reached out to me asking, where's the Sixers conversation? You're talking about the Phillies every single day. Joel Embiid just had 52 points. I promise you I have something planned when it comes to the 76ers. Number two, I'm so pissed that I didn't get an opportunity to celebrate the win. You sit here and you see another loss. Now they're 1-5 in their first 6. I didn't even get a chance because of the quick turnaround with the afternoon game today. What a joke of a start. Soto blows right now. He blows. Aaron Nola was good. Pache blows. The base running by this team blows. Derek Hall. Yo, Trey Turner. We can't be falling asleep. We can't be having the guys that we're supposed to rely on making that type of mistake. Especially right now, when you're playing as poorly as you are. Craig Kimbrell, he almost pissed away the one win we actually had. But they managed. It wasn't easy. I lost air. I was holding my breath. They found a way. Fine. But for Pache and the rest of the crew to squander an opportunity with Loizaga on the bump, they had a chance there. Cave had the RBI sac fly, but it wasn't enough. And it doesn't help when Soto allows a bomb to Trevino. By the way, Trevino's a career he's got 20 home runs in his career. 6 seasons in Major League Baseball. You got taken deep by a dude who's got 20 career home runs in 6 seasons of play. It's pathetic. I'm angry. Was Garrett Cole good today? Yes. Garrett Cole was an ace. Garrett Cole was a stud. He was a stud in his first outing. What does that tell you? Pitchers can adjust to the pitch clock and shine. And I thought Aaron Nola was good. I'm not taking shots at him, but I'm just saying, if that's constantly going to be brought up this year, well, that person's not ready yet. Well, that person isn't fully understanding how he's going to react to the pitch clock. Figure it the hell out, because Garrett Cole figured it out. And yes, my bar is set with Garrett Cole. It just shows me that very talented pitchers can still ball out no matter how much time they have in between pitches. I don't care that Garrett Cole was good. You have to score more runs. I'm sorry. That's the standard. What am I supposed to say? Oh, well, you don't have the luxury right now. If the Phillies were 4-1 heading into this game and then Garrett Cole dominated, then you would have more of a leash. If you're winning baseball games and the product is actually okay and I could support the way you're playing baseball, then there's no doubt in my mind I would have given them more of leeway. But not when you have 1 win and 4 attempts to that point, or 5 attempts, or 1-5, or 1-4, whatever the hell it is. I can't even remember because my brain is mush and all I watch is losing baseball. Rob Thompson hasn't been very good to this point. Last year, it seemed like all of his decisions were working out tremendously. And this year, his decision-making with the bullpen, not so much. Soto needs to look in the mirror. And his second outing wasn't as bad as his first outing. But now you're watching him with his first and third outings being miserable. Yes, it's on the pitcher to do better. But at the same time, I just don't like how Rob has handled things. I'll give him credit here, keeping Marsh in the lineup. Now he's banged up, and so is Derek Hall, and you're really hurting with the injuries. Bryce, Reese, Ranger, Painter, Hall, Marsh. It stings. And it may very well cost you when you go home to finally have your home opener, even against a team like Cincinnati. I give Rob credit here. After Marsh made the mistake in center field and had the base running blunder, he stayed with him the next day. You can make the argument that you have to show the rest of the team that that's unacceptable. Maybe Sosa played center field, whatever you wanted to do. I wouldn't have went back to Pache because he sucks, but it is what it is. He stayed with Marsh, and Marsh hit a bomb. Schwarber woke up a little bit. It's not even June yet. This is the early stage of the season. When you look at his April and May, and then you look at the hotter times of the year, the June, Julys, he's definitely a different player a couple months into the season. But he's already showing a little bit of that Kyle Schwarber burst, which is great. But for Marsh to respond in the victory, I'm like, okay, Rob, he had a feel on that one. I wouldn't have played Marsh. Because right now, once again, you don't deserve the leash. Getting picked off. They all are. Bad base running. They all are. I got to make a statement to the team. I got to show the clubhouse, if you are going to play this poorly, you are not going to play. Because it's every player at this point. You're lucky Bryce Harper's not available because you're not really lucky, but bear with me for a second, because he probably will get thrown out trying to stretch a single to a double 6 times by now, and if Bryce Harper's constantly doing it, well, then it's hard to make an example of it, because that's what he does. But Bryce Harper could get away with it. Derek Hall can't, and now look at him. He's hurt. As you can tell, I hate this. I hate this. I hate the umpires. Another display of why robot umps should be where we're at. We talked to Jason Stark today. Remember the other day where Trey Turner was stealing second base, but the umpire granted the catcher time, so it didn't count, and he had to go back to first base? He said he called around everywhere in the league. Talked to umpires, talked to the league, talked to this person, that person. No one has an explanation. Nobody knows what happened. At this point, he thinks that it's possible that some of the umps are making it up on the fly. I guess it has to be on the table. Making it up on the fly. That's what we have to deal with. That's not why they lost this baseball game. Buckner sucked a few games back. And when the game was 4-3, he was terrible, which allowed the Rangers to do a lot of work and score a lot of runs. And I hated that too. But you let him 16 runs at the same time. Even though crucial parts of the game, he failed. And I can't let that go. The team as a whole isn't playing well enough. And that's a bigger issue than the umps. Even though the umps is an issue that is highly regarded on my list. You got to battle through it because it's not going anywhere right now, and you have to win some baseball games. So Cincinnati is going to be here in Philly. What I demand them to do is win all 3. Do I feel they are? No. Here's what we know, though. If we're basing it off the track record of how the Phillies make no sense to us, which is kind of what we have seen recently. And I mean that not this season, last season. Underachieving heavily with Joe Girardi. Firing Joe Girardi. The manager change, you go on a win rate percentage that makes no sense whatsoever. It doesn't make sense. You get to the World Series, you needed a DH. Think about all the things that fell in the Phillies' favor. You needed the DH, you needed the wild card, the third wild card. There was so much there. The game against the Cardinals, squeezing it out. They had no business of winning. In what world? I bring that up to you because while based off of the recent play, I would be shocked if they swept Cincinnati, even though I demand it. The Philadelphia Phillies, based off the wonkiness and the craziness that they have given us over the last couple of years, what if they spit off 7 in a row? What if they spit off a sweep of the Marlins, a sweep of Cincinnati? and they win 8, 9, 10 in a row. I could see that too, but then probably lose 6 in a row after that. And then win a series, lose a series, and we're pulling our teeth out every single night with this squad, especially with all the injuries, right? Seriously, though, those injuries are going to be a problem. Do they have the firepower for people to be put in those places and win? Last year, you had the young kids step up. And Stott's been playing great. Bohm didn't have any hits today, but he's been playing great. Least of my worries. Castellanos is falling back into the trap. Castellanos getting rung up a few times. Can't happen. It scares me that if he falls into a little bit of an uh-oh, that it's going to be hard to crawl back out of that uh-oh. I just didn't envision myself feeling this much hatred towards the squad already. Good for Strom. Strom and Bailey faltered to this point with the starting rotation. And Nola, I'm not discrediting what Nola did today. It just sucks because I can't even look back at that win. What for? You had to win the series. I've heard this argument, and I don't know how to feel about it. Going 1-2 in New York isn't that egregious. That's fair. You're right, it's not. If Texas didn't play out the way Texas played out, are you really that angry with Garrett Cole on the mound in one of those games? Are you really that disgusted with dropping a series and dropping 2-3 to New York? No. But I can't forget what happened in Texas. They did this. Don't get mad at me. So how do you counter what happened in Texas? You sweep Cincinnati. Realistically, because it's so hard to expect sweeps, 2-3, and just winning the series is how you should approach it, I guess. But you counter the Texas issue with the sweep against Cincinnati. And then from there, you're back to even. We need to be better than even. I'm not saying record-wise. I'm just saying sweep for sweep. That balances each other out. Then from there, it's time to go win some games. But you're hurt right now, and I think that's going to play a role. Pache! That's not good enough. Every time the guy's in the box, you know it's going to end bad. Pop up to the catcher. Pop to the catcher. It's not even like he's giving us a little bit of hope. If I'm Dave Dombrowski, it should be over. The experiment should be over already with him. He's not a winning player. When I watched Brandon Marsh play, and Dave Dombrowski showed to you that we can fix something in his swing, there's something there in this kid, it was believable. I saw the vision. Does anyone see the vision on Pache? Because I see a guy that deserves 0 playing time. But going back to what I was saying, last year the young kids were there for you. Nick Maton, and I'm not reflecting back on any trade saying Dave was dumb to trade Nick Maton, to trade Matt Vierling. Good organizations go on playoff runs, and then they maximize trade value based off some pieces that are replaceable. You replace Matt Vierling. This team is 1-5 with Matt Vierling. It is what it is. This team's 1-5 with Nick Maton. Their record's not changing if Derek Hall, Trey Turner, Brandon Marsh, if these guys are still making the mistakes that they were making, the team's still 1-5. They did a good job last year, but there's truth to that, in my eyes, that your record's not much different. They did a nice job stepping up, though. I need more than Pache. You got to find something in between. Pache, and then the nice run that some of the younger kids had last year. You need a middle ground if you can't get exactly what you did. It's more on some of the others. Castellanos, where are you? I wanted a home run by the time he stepped foot in Philadelphia. It's not looking like it's going to happen. Why? Why? I need power from him. Badly. Especially now. Because as much as I will rip Pache because he sucks at baseball, Pache isn't going to be why you win a bunch of baseball games. Unfortunately for him, he keeps stepping up to the dish with guys in scoring position and a chance to put the team on top. Dude, it sucks for you. Now, a real baseball player would take advantage of that. But it's going to be Schwarber. It's going to be Castellanos. It's going to be those guys. With the role players incorporated. But hey, Castellanos, we're looking in your direction. Outrageous, isn't it? Where do we go from here? Let's go to the phones. Let's take calls. And let's hear from you all out there. If you would like to leave a call, the phone number is on the screen at 856-442-9805. You can do that right now. And I am going to plug once again, just because the numbers are getting so high and up and up and up and up and up each week, each day. I can't thank you all enough. Take Sports Talk with Broads on the road with you by going to your podcasting platform of your choice, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, you name it. Search Sports Talk with Broads and make sure you subscribe to the pod, the audio show. Everything we do on YouTube is published on there as well, so you can take me on the road with you. Make sure you hit that 5-star rating, the review as well. It really does go a long way, and the numbers have been booming, so I just figured I'll keep this going. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of booming, so is Jose Alvarado in that victory. He looked good, huh? Brogdon gave you a nice how do you do as well, but it doesn't mean anything anymore because they followed it up with a dud. They followed it up with nothing. With Loizaga on the mound. You could have did it. You could have did it right there. You could have done it. Maybe that's the proper English. You could have done it. It was in your grasp. It's a 50-50 ball game. You know what good teams do? They find ways to win 50-50 ball games, especially when you're facing adversity because you were terrible in the previous series. So I thought that there would be some motivation. I thought there would be a switch, realizing we weren't good enough in Texas. We started off the season so disgraceful that we have to deliver. But no. Let's make Broads and his life hell. Let's crush the entertainment. Well, they did a great job of that. If that was the goal, Phillies, there's a difference between hitting the panic button, real quickly. Difference between hitting the panic button and being angry. I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm angry. Because you would be giving them a free pass if you put your hands up and said, it's early. I know it's early. Why can't it be early and be pissed? Why can't it still be April 5th, and hate what I see? Especially now, with so many guys banged up, I have no idea what the lineup's going to be looking like. And I want to make it clear. While I do put more on the shoulders of Nick Castellanos than Pache, it doesn't mean it's going to be any easier for me to watch that bum in the box. Because if there is another game that he gets to dress, which would be terrible, but I'm sure it's going to happen, and he is facing someone with a guy on third and a guy on second, and he strikes out or he pops up in foul territory again, yes, it goes on him. Just because I put more on Castellanos and more on Turner and more on Schwarber You're fighting for your life in this league. Do something! Do something! I'll take Scott Kingery at this point. You heard me. Let's take calls.
What a frustrating game, man. Greg Soto, figure it the fuck out, bro. How do you give up a 2-run home run to Jose Trevino of all players? Jose Trevino. He had like maybe 12 home runs last year. He's not good. Figure it out. And Jake Cave needs to step up, man. Bases loaded, 1 out, and we only scored 1 run. Absolutely. It just can't happen. Playing like this, we might be a 60-win ball club this year. Also, man, everyone getting injured is just very frustrating. They got to figure it out. Hell of an outing from Nola. It's got to figure it out. I don't understand why Greg Soto all of a sudden can't pitch. Very frustrating.
Yeah, we need Soto. We need Soto. That's someone who has to learn what he's doing out there. And he's got the talent to do it. I figured it would be a bit of a roller coaster with him because that's what's to be expected. It's what's to be expected. But let's go. Quick. And here's what bothers me the most about all this. Dating back to last year again. And I'm only doing that so much because that's kind of where we are in the season. You reflect where you left off last year with maybe that first month. What they did was rare, and I hope they realize that. That run, the percentage of it was minuscule. Doesn't take away from what it was, but that's not a recipe for success. And I was afraid, one, that would ruin the way fans watch the team because last year they were able to make the World Series as a third wildcard team and they weren't very good for so long in the beginning that expectations kind of changed because, well, let's not overreact. We've seen them go on a run before when it wasn't good. I don't care. The recipe to do that is not. The recipe to get to the World Series is not what they did last year. Not many teams get to where they want if they do what the Phillies did last season. And what you're doing is you're digging yourself, this is part 2 of this, you're digging yourself into a hole, falling behind, and having to try and duplicate that. It's rare for it to happen once. What are the odds it happens twice? Now, they're not as bad, they're not in a position as bad as they were last year. It's not to that level yet. It's on the track, though, to reach that level if this continues. I don't know if it will continue. I think there's too much talent on this team to continue. But you keep digging yourself into a hole, and at some point, it becomes too much. It becomes way too much. I don't want to hear about the pitch clock, as some of the people watching who are commenting during the show are saying. How come Garrett Cole wasn't having an issue with the pitch clock? I don't care about the pitch clock. Did they just randomly decide a day before the game started that, hey, everyone, we're going to the pitch clock? Or did they know about this for months in advance? Too much time was available for pitchers throwing to prepare any way they need to be ready for that pitch clock. I'm not giving them the excuse because I watch a lot of baseball, not just the Phillies. And when I'm tuning into all go look at Miami, go look at Sandy, go see what Sandy did. And then tell me the pitch clock is stopping greatness from being great. That's foolish. It's not the case. He went 9 innings, 1 walk, 3 hits. All right, 0 earned runs against the Twins yesterday. Sorry, I'm not allowing that to be said. Won't allow it. Let's go back to the phones.
I really hope I'm not hearing Aaron Nola slander from anyone. He was perfectly fine, and he wasn't the problem today. Some could argue that he actually did pretty well. Do I agree? I don't know if I agree with Rob Thompson's decisions fully, though. And that hurts me to say because I love Rob Thompson. But I just don't agree with it. I don't agree. But, yeah, I really don't really have anything to say. Let's just get some wins. I think we should sweep the Reds. Why not?
Well, why not? Because their players aren't available and they're not playing good baseball, the players that are available. That's why not. 2-3 would put you at, if they went 2 of 3 against Cincy, will put them at, what are they, 1-5? 3-6. 3-6 with, and Noah did do well. Noah did well. 6 innings, 3 earned runs, although with Soto, 87 pitches. Aaron Nola did enough for you to be involved in this game. Soto hurt you more than Nola did. After that series against the Marlins, you go to Cincinnati for 4. I can only take this one step at a time at this point, with all due respect. But when you say, why not? Why not? Let's go to Cincinnati, why not? Or let's sweep Cincinnati, why not? Well, because I've watched them play the first 6 games. I don't want that to be the answer. I don't want to feel the way that I do. Why not? Because I've watched them play baseball. And this sucks. All right. I don't know if this call is from today's game, yesterday's game. I'm trying to find the date on this one. See, I don't know what I want to do at this point. My heart's already aching. We're 27 minutes in. What's the point of listening to anything that had to do with the win? Is that going to make anybody feel better right now? Is this? Let's see.
Good first win of the season for the Phils. This is why you put Schwartz at the top of the lineup. He sets the tone for the rest of the team with the early homer. It's good to see Marsh bounce back after the tough day yesterday. We got a good outing from Strom. I will say Kimbrel had me worried, but overall it was a good job by the bullpen. Hopefully win tomorrow. Nola will have a good day, and we'll come back to the bank. Go Phils.
That did nothing for me. Nola did have a good day. Did you like the Josh Harrison ground up? Is that solid? What were you feeling at that time? I thought they let this one slip. Not that they were in control and then the Yankees stole it from them. Maybe that's how letting it slip sounds. But in a 50-50 game, that was the inning that they could have exploded. That was the inning that they could have done more. And from there, the rest of the game plays out differently. But I can't wait until feelings feel good again, because right now, they don't. Thank you all so much. I'm not doing any more calls, even though there are a few here for today's game. I'm down and out. Down and out. Catch you guys later.